Breaking news! The 2025 NFL Draft is officially in the books, but its impact is just getting started. The atmosphere behind the scenes at Buffalo Bills HQ is absolutely electric. The picks made last night could reshape the future of this franchise, and one thing is clear, the road to the Super Bowl starts now. Before we dive into this wild post-draft breakdown, smash that like button, but only if you truly believe the Bills nailed this draft and are on track for a monster season. Man, seriously, I believe in this squad big time. If you're feeling that hype too, drop it in the comments. Go Bills! I believe! With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills shocked many, maybe even themselves, by pulling the trigger on a player whose name wasn't being echoed as loudly as others throughout the offseason. And yet, in a draft that's been nothing short of chaotic, the Bills may have just found their diamond in the rough. Mafia, let me say this, you're going to want to remember the name Maxwell Hairston. This isn't just another cornerback. This might be the steal of the first round. Hairston, out of Kentucky, stands at 5'11" and weighs 183 pounds, a frame that instantly raises eyebrows, especially for a position that thrives on physicality. But let me hit you with something that'll change the way you look at that measurement. This guy ran a 4.29-second 40-yard dash. Yes, you heard that right. 4.29. That's elite. That's speed that can flip a defensive scheme on its head. That's the kind of burst that offensive coordinators have to account for on every single snap. And that speed? It's not just for show. Hairston is a dual-threat corner. While his size might make you think he'd be best suited in zone, he's surprisingly adept at press coverage too. He's not afraid to throw every ounce of his 183-pound frame at a receiver right off the line. He's aggressive, he's reactive, and most importantly, he has a nose for the football. That kind of instinct isn't something you teach. It's embedded in the DNA of elite defensive backs. Let's go back to 2023. That's when Hairston truly turned heads, before a shoulder injury in 2024 sidelined him for a chunk of the season. In 2023, he racked up 11 pass breakups and 5 interceptions. Those are not pedestrian numbers. That's lockdown production. That's a corner who changes how quarterbacks approach half the field. And for a team like the Bills, who just locked down Christian Benford with a massive 4-year, $76 million contract, pairing him with a young, fast, hungry talent like Hairston could be one of the smartest long-term defensive investments this franchise has made in recent memory. Now, of course, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Two of them, actually. First, the size. He's not your prototypical bruiser, but that's nothing a strong NFL nutrition and training regimen can't handle. Size is adjustable. You can't teach raw speed, agility, or instinct. And second, the injury. Yes, Hairston missed most of 2024 with a shoulder issue, but it wasn't a lower body injury, nothing with hips, knees, or ligaments. His mobility is intact. His explosiveness hasn't suffered. If anything, he's going to come into rookie camp with something to prove. And you know what's crazy? According to some of the sharpest minds in the scouting world, Hairston is already being viewed as a future starter in this league. Dane Brugler from The Athletic, the man behind the legendary draft guide known as The Beast, described Hairston as a competitive, lengthy athlete who feels routes developing around him and plays with the reactionary movements and ball skills to fit a variety of coverages. That's not casual praise. That's a legit scouting endorsement. Brugler did note Hairston needs to improve as a tackler, but again, that ties back into his size, which the Bills will undoubtedly address. And if you're still not convinced this was the right move, let me paint a bigger picture for you. The Bills had several glaring needs on the defensive side: cornerback, defensive tackle, edge rusher. With Rasul Douglas leaving and Benford now the clear CB1, Buffalo had a hole to fill on the opposite side. And guess what? Every other top-tier corner was off the board. Jay Barron was the only name gone before 30. So when Hairston was still available, that was a no-brainer. Now add this to the mix. Look at the free agency haul. Michael Hoy, Joey Bosa, Larry Ogunjobi. Pair those names with Ed Oliver, A.J. Epineza, and Terrell Bernard, and suddenly the Bills' front seven looks scary. Absolutely terrifying. The foundation has been laid for a defense that could dominate every phase of the game. All they needed was a young playmaker on the back end to tie it all together. And now they have him. So let me be clear. This wasn't just a good pick. It was an A- pick, only docked slightly because of the size and the shoulder injury. But those are calculated risks. And as of right now, the upside massively outweighs the downside. This is a player who, in the right system, and make no mistake, Sean McDermott knows how to mold corners, could become a key piece in a championship-caliber defense. And if you think we're done adding impact players, think again. Round 2 is around the corner. The Bills still have their eyes on bolstering the defensive line, and names like Donovan Azaraku out of Boston College and Alfred Collins are still on the board. We could be staring down the barrel of a defensive renaissance in Buffalo. So here we are, Mafia. The Bills made their move. They didn't go for flash. They went for fit, instinct, and upside. Maxwell Hairston is a Buffalo Bill, a cornerback out of Kentucky who, despite the doubts, might just end up being one of the biggest surprises in this draft class. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think of the pick? Do you think Hairston can live up to the hype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Who do you want to see us target next in this draft? This is our team. This is our moment. And the future is starting to take shape, one pick at a time. And if you're still with me, Bills Mafia, then you know this is the part where things start to get even more interesting. Because this isn't just about Hairston anymore. This is about what kind of team Buffalo is building. About the message Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott just sent with this pick. And trust me, it's loud and clear. We're coming for everything. Let's talk fit. Let's talk scheme. Let's talk why Maxwell Hairston isn't just a luxury pick. He's a blueprint piece. In McDermott's defense, zone coverage has always been the backbone. Harrison's speed, route anticipation, and range make him almost tailor-made for it. The way he processes route combinations and makes breaks on the ball is next level. And if you're worried about his tackling ability, that's the least of my concerns. His film shows a willingness to throw his body around, even if the mechanics aren't perfect yet. But what rookie corner has that part of the game polished on day one? Exactly. What Hairston does have is that rare twitchy athleticism, the kind that makes you hold your breath when the ball is in the air. And what's maybe even more valuable, he's competitive. He wants to win. He wants to hit. He wants to be the guy covering WR1S on an island. That mentality doesn't come from coaching. It comes from within. That's what separates future stars from short-term contributors. And Bills fans, we've seen this story before, haven't we? A DB with speed and instincts coming into a system that knows how to cultivate defensive backs? Tre'Davious White, anyone? This team has a proven track record of developing corners. Hairston could be the next chapter in that legacy. And if that shoulder holds up, which every indication says it will, you're going to see him on the field a lot faster than people think. But let's zoom out. This draft pick is about more than filling a roster spot. It's about identity. The Bills are rebuilding something that feels like it slipped away last season, a hungry, fast, violent defense. And we're seeing that vision materialize in real time. The additions of Michael Hoy, Joey Bosa, and Larry Ogunjobi up front give the pass rush the kind of teeth we haven't seen since the peak years of the McDermott-Frazier defense. You pair that with coverage corners like Benford and now Hairston, and you've got a unit that can suffocate quarterbacks, limit separation, force hurried throws, and generate turnovers. Think about that combination. You've got veteran presence, pass rush explosiveness, and now youth and agility on the back end. The spine of this defense is forming, and it's coming together faster than most of us expected. The Hairston pick isn't just a reaction to need, it's an investment in a defensive philosophy. McDermott wants playmakers who fly to the ball, who understand the game before the snap, and who finish plays after it. Hairston checks every one of